Hello everyone. I'm gonna work on creating law of attraction, law of assumption videos to the best of my ability for everyone. And I just intend with this that it helps as many people as possible and that you may be protected from any of my ignorance. So let's get started. A lot of us, when we first embark on these journeys to begin controlling our emotions, mindsets, and manifest deliberate change into our lives, the first hurdle that we encounter is getting rid of the old story. The old narrative, the old story is so pervasive that it shapes how we see ourselves continually. We take the past as a guarantee of how the future is going to turn out too, which is quite illogical now that you think about it. In any case, a way to reconcile the feelings of the past and all the feelings of injustice and hate associated with the old identity is to think about a catapult and the concept of contrast. Now, contrast is something that is generated in our mind when we experience something that we don't like. Teachers like Abraham Hicks will say it's good that you identify things that you don't like because that's one step closer to moving towards what it is that you do desire in your reality. However, the mistake that does happen is we are not able to move past that point of, I've identified what I don't want, so now let me focus on what I want. In order to get rid of that old story, in order to make peace with it, here's an alternate perspective that I want to offer. So, contrast is possibly a way of magnifying and intensifying your desire for something. Note that I'm not talking about frustrated desire that interferes with feeling good and feeling in alignment with what it is that you want to manifest in your life. I'm talking more about, suppose that you're someone that's a real diehard romantic on the inside, but for whatever reason, the ideal relationship or good relationships have evaded you all your life, and internally you're kind of frustrated because you're waiting your turn, it seems like, and you just can't seem to get there. Well, instead of making your identity about this never happened to me, it never happened for me, and therefore it means that it can never happen in my reality, maybe what you can do is pivot, which means like literally step away from that and think to yourself, my sort of expertise in this contrast creates a huge reservoir of anticipation inside me. It creates a huge capability for me to manage this part of my life well when it does appear in my life. That's why I'm going to be a good steward of my love life, because I've experienced that contrast. I've experienced endless days on end where I've been in situations that have felt like hell, that have made me feel trapped, and because of that contrast, you likely have encountered books, modern gurus. Like, I don't mean a spiritual guru, I just mean like your authors and what have you. So it's very likely that you've developed some kind of expertise around this, and when it does manifest in your life and when you are in vibrational alignment with it, there's a lot of resourcefulness that can come into the picture based on everything that you've accumulated in the past. And as for something that I once heard, I heard it from the sprinkle lady actually, and she said quite wisely when asked, how do I forgive myself for all the past mistakes? She said, well, think about the version of yourself that wasn't potty trained. Are you mad at that baby version of you for not knowing better than to poop their pants? Or something like that. I'm heavily paraphrasing, but that was such a great way of putting it, because think about the past unevolved versions of you. They couldn't get to where you are at present because they were less well equipped. They didn't have the nervous system to back it up, or they were simply very restricted. And what you want to do is have compassion for yourself. So have that image of the baby you in mind, and literally think of your past mistakes as a form of innocence, in the sense that it's all in the past now. There's no you, like the same way you would be able to get angry at a small baby who didn't know better than to control going to the toilet. It's the same way that you can't be mad at yourself, because ultimately it didn't come from a place of malice. You just were not equipped. You were perhaps too unwise, and that is something to have compassion for, not something to kind of beat into your mind over and over again until it becomes a part of your identity, until that thought becomes so embedded in your mind. And similarly, again, with this catapult of contrast, I want to bring to mind anytime that you hear about someone that makes personality development content, or they talk about mastering the mind, it's usually people that have had some kind of debilitating experience with deep anxiety, where they've been held back from their potential, probably been sabotaged by others who have been able to kind of take advantage of their inability to have faith in themselves. Right? So all of these things cumulatively create an opening in that person's life where that contrast becomes so deep and that reality becomes so painful that the person just has to pivot. And steep contrasts are good setup for success, because they generate that power in you, all that frustration, all that negative emotion, it's just energy to be churned. And the more that you're able to look at it in terms of magnitude, as opposed to labeling it good, bad, the more you'll be able to work with that energy and transmute it. So if you're someone that has suffered from anxiety before, you understand what the value of that relief is, not to have debilitating thoughts anymore, not to have an intrusive thought anymore. And you become a powerful force for change, because your message, even if you're not, let's say, preaching to 10 people or 100 people, let's say you're just telling your coworker in your office that, oh, this has really paid off for me. Your throat chakra and your vocal transmission, it carries that much more power because it's lived experience. It's something that you've actualized. So it's resonating in your heart and your throat, and it generates that juiciness of emotions that transfers over to others. It's more infectious in a good way. Well, this is all I have on the topic for now, but please subscribe and follow. If you want to see more, let me know if you have any other topic requests.